Well, joining us now for Perspective is the head of L'Orient Today, the English language version of L'Orient du Jour, Iva Kovic-Chahine. Thanks very much for joining us and being with us on the programme. And we saw, didn't we, those images there of Lebanese people trying to return home. A heartbreaking moment for many of them due to the destruction they see when they get there, presumably.
Yes, tens of thousands of people have tried to go back. People spent 10 hours and more on the roads since Friday to try to reach their homes. Many of them have chosen not to yet. As the report said, Hezbollah has told them to wait for a green light, but it's understandable that people want the respite to take place fully and want to try to regain their homes.
What is it like for those people who arrive there and find that their homes are potentially no longer there even?
Well, most of them are no longer there even. Well, what is it like? I mean, it is not their first time going through that. Many of them have had to rebuild their homes many times, after 2006, after 2024, in between as well. I mean, how is it for them? I can only imagine the devastation that they can be in.
And still, of course, right across the country, I mean, tens of thousands of people displaced by the violence. How are those people trying to cope with it, presumably living in tented accommodation, a lot of them? How is the country as a whole trying to cope with it?
I mean, this has been the case since before the ceasefire. It's actually more than 1 million displaced. How are they coping with it? The most of the displaced have found shelter either with relatives or in schools and other, let's say, sort of public structures that have turned into temporary shelters. These have their problems, obviously. I mean, we're in a country where the economy is still more or less in shambles. The state was not prepared to take on this number of displaced. So yeah, everyone's coping as well as they can. But I mean, if you drive through the streets of Beirut, the tents are still there, the displaced are still there. There are a lot of aid initiatives, but mostly, private aid initiatives by groups here and there that are trying to help. But the situation is dire.
And presumably people watching very, very closely these possible peace talks today. I mean, it's very, very unclear whether they are going to be happening or not between Iran and the US, because what happens in that conflict could directly impact, presumably, the situation in Lebanon.
Yes. So actually, we woke up this morning with the sound of the Israeli drone back, and Hezbollah has also claimed its first attack on Israeli soldiers near the town of Taibe in the south, ever since the beginning of the ceasefire a few days ago. So it's very fragile, and we feel it is maybe more fragile today than it was during the weekend, especially after what happened during the weekend, after the killing of the French peacekeeper. And yes, as you said, the two processes are very intertwined: the Lebanese-Israeli ceasefire and the Iranian-US-Israeli talks. In a sense, one can say that the Lebanese ceasefire has become some sort of a card that Iran plays in its own process with the US. And now that the tensions are rising again over the Strait of Hormuz, and it is closed again because the Iranians say that the US have not removed their blockade, but the US also targeted a ship yesterday. It is very tense and it is unclear, but the Iran-US-Israel process will influence the Lebanese one very strongly. We just don't know exactly how yet.
And you mentioned those potential breaches of the ceasefire. I mean, would you say generally that the ceasefire is still holding at the moment, though?
I mean, it depends on how we define it. The ceasefire from its start left possible attacks on the part of Israel, especially in the language that it used. No one expected the ceasefire to be a full ceasefire where absolutely nothing happens. But Hezbollah had held so far, and I would say that maybe there is a bit of tension that is rising again, especially as the framework for it is so vague.
You mentioned earlier on briefly that attack on the UN mission in southern Lebanon at the weekend killed a French soldier, injured 3 others, 2 of them very seriously. I mean, Hezbollah very much being blamed by France and by the UN mission as well for that attack.
Yes, so the Lebanese army is currently investigating the incident. The French president said that this was the responsibility of Hezbollah, which has not been 100% confirmed, but the UNIFIL structure itself has said that the fire likely came from non-state actors, and non-state actors who have the freedom of movement in that area in the south is Hezbollah.
How much hope do you have at the moment? I mean, we have got a ceasefire in place since very late on Thursday night, but as you say, it's very fragile, it's very tentative. I mean, do you think there are ways that it can hold? Do you think that there is a way that peace can prevail?
I mean, I certainly hope so. I honestly wouldn't say that I have much hope. I mean, let's see. The American ambassador is back in Lebanon today and is supposed to meet with Lebanon's top leaders, so the president and President Nawaf Salam and Nabil Berri, in order to prepare for the negotiations that are supposed to take place in the coming days or weeks under the aegis of the U.S. I mean, let's see we have Lebanon has a seat at the table, at least for now. How much leverage it has, not much really, but it has put itself in the process. It is ready to do what it is supposed to do, and it's part of the dialogue. So that is already something, but the paradigm around it is more than just about Lebanon. It's about the entire region, and the leverage there is much more complicated for Lebanon to hold. And so I don't know.
And what about longer term? I mean, knowing what has happened in Lebanon, between Lebanon and Israel over the past days, months, years even, I mean, is there a way, do you think, that the 2 sides eventually can find a way to live together? Or the 3 sides, perhaps I should say.
About, yes, I don't think we're at the live together yet, but something needs to be discussed in order for Lebanon to be able to start working again on all the portfolios that are important and that have been put aside since the beginning of not just this war, but since, let's say, since October 8th, which are internal reforms, working on corruption, working on education, working on everything that will make it again a normally functioning country. And that the government that was put in place in order to work on that has not been able to do that because of the war that it was dragged into. So it does have to agree on something just so it can give itself the space to become a country again. That is an absolute necessity. So what sort of agreement can make that possible will have to be negotiated.
And what's it been like for you and your colleagues as well? I mean, reporting on what's been going on over the past few days, past few weeks, past few months. I mean, how difficult is it, on the one hand, to remain as emotionally detached from it, I suppose, as you can try to be, but also to get access and be able to talk to people freely about what's going on in the country?
It is very complicated, especially that all the teams, all the media teams have been on one same streak ever since 2023. So no one's really had the time to take a step back. It's very it's very different reporting on a place where you come from, where you have lived your entire life, and that is the case for most of our team members, especially also from a security perspective in a context where ever since Gaza, targets on journalists have become somewhat normal, from the part of Israel, of course, have become somewhat normalized. So organizing from a security perspective has become complicated as well. A lot of work has to be done prior in order to ensure the security and safety of everyone. The discussion is also extremely polarized, as we have seen in the past weeks, between let's say, the pro and the anti-Hezbollah camp, and how Hezbollah's role has been perceived. So yeah, it's no easy feat covering and living this war at the same time.
Good to talk to you on the programme today. Thanks very much for joining us. Iva Kovic-Chahine there, the head of
Thank you, Stuart.
L'Orient du Jour, the head of the English language version, the head of L'Orient Today. Thanks very much for joining us there live from Beirut.